Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
Now, I was trying to keep as much hold of that as possible. Failed on that side. They want to do a cash-free, debt-free transaction. I found a funder for this deal, which was fucking phenomenal, lending at 4.5 times EBITDA. They'd actually already funded a previous mentee, and then I got fucked by Brexit. Now, the mistake that I made was that I put all my eggs in one basket, and I didn't start chasing down other funders. Equally, because I'm slower than snail shit, I want to get a deal done. So, in this particular instance, I'm putting in money, about £180,000, to get the first one done. Main reason for that, I've just got to get the traction going. What I've been able to do is stretch out.
What does the 15% mean?
That's me.
That's what you're getting from the 180 or no?
No, that's what I'm putting in. That's what I'm putting in.
I got it.
That's my sand money I've got going in there. The purchase price, what I managed to do was I broke it down to, we worked on a 3-year average for the EBITDA, so we got it to 400,000. This year in August they did about 455. I've got the so I worked it on a 3-year average. So it's 4 times the 400,000, 1.6 million we're paying for it. I've got 1.2 million in debt funding, 1 million is on acquisition, 200 in working capital. I've then got on closing, I'm paying out 1,080,000 and I'm deferring the 520 over 4 years, which is long for this type, in this industry. Not QLA, but within this industry, 4 years is a long time. The good thing about managed services is actually deferred consideration, earn out, it's a normal part of the acquisition process, so it's not unheard of. The thing is, it's trying to just tie them in. In this particular case, I'm probably acquiring them for, I'd say, 20% below market. So it's a good deal in terms of it's the right price. The issue that I have with it is it's the covenants that are attached to the loan. And this is where things start.
You mean the commercial loan?
Yeah. It's a debt fund, so it's not bank, so I don't have the benefit of being able to work the line of, expanding out the overdraft and everything else. But these guys, they have very particular covenants attached to. Let me see here. Financials. Okay.
Can I stop you real quick?
Sure.
So what's the cash flow? What's the cash flow? What's your EBITDA right now?
455.
Okay, 455.
They've been growing about 10% per annum for the last 3 years. They haven't done. I started off, I was all over the fucking map, everywhere, looking everywhere. And then I zeroed in here. The main reason is, it's not the ideal size of the company I wanted to start off with, but the reality is that actually it's a target-rich environment for companies that are doing 1 to 3. Yeah. So what I was able to do with that, I noticed every time I started to get up towards 4-5 million in revenue, I started running into PE, and I kept running into the same people over and over again. And then the multiples started going crazy. It's like all of these business owners are smoking crack. They're all thinking that they've got the next tech, every single one of these people, the ones that I've spoken to, I've profiled nearly 700 companies. I've reached out to 100. I've probably entered into substantial conversations with about 30. And the general feedback is the same. I'll deviate from this just to give you a little bit more flavour on the type of these companies. So they've got long-standing relationships with their clients. They're in a sort of an area now where they could potentially lose that business because they're not properly equipped to be able to deal with cyber threats. Now, cyber is like war on terror. It's just happening all the time. It's a full-on fucking business. In the UK, from a sales point of view, the statistics are fucking scary, right? So when you're going out there selling these products, when you can say in 2018, 70% of all data breaches in the UK were targeted at SMEs. Majority of people think it's all big companies. It's not. Mm-hmm. So you've got the walls closing in on their customers because you've got regulation like GDPR, which isn't really cybersecurity, but it's a part of it. And then you've got supply chain issues. So like BA breach, that wasn't somebody breaching BA systems. It was actually somebody, they breached a supplier who was in the supply chain. So now these larger companies are saying, well, you've got to have Cyber Essentials Plus, but you also need to be able to keep these guys.
I'm very sorry. I still don't have Zach. Is that a person? Jonathan thinks that
That's him.
he might be the same person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know, yeah, because his real name is Zacchini.
Ah.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
You wonder why the deals don't get fucking done. Go ahead.
So what we do is this company in particular, 455, their hold is about, like when I say hold, the profit margin is about 32.5%. Okay. So it's healthy compared to this business, this industry. They run it properly in terms of their accounting. So they're not trying to squeeze the numbers all the way down so they're paying less corporate tax. Those companies, I have to go owner finance, the ones that have the smaller numbers, because you couldn't fund the deal anyway. The numbers aren't strong enough. In this case, we've modelled, which is on the follow-on pages, we've modelled the company to continue to grow at about 50% of the rate that it's doing at the moment. The majority of that additional revenue we're going to pull from existing customers, from selling cybersecurity products. And one of the ways that we're going to approach the price reviews is no different to Microsoft or anybody else when you put a date stamp on the product. So then that allows the customers to realize, I've got Cybersecurity Pack 2021, it's going to be obsolete at the end of the year, so you need to renew. Now, all of the stuff I'm talking about was really all formulated from my board. I had an idea, and then I just sort of cherry-picked bits and pieces, and then we sort of put it together. In this particular deal, the two of them they're going to be deployed into this company. They're going to be there for 100 days, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be overseeing this turnaround. So if we did nothing, we're fairly confident that the numbers will continue the way that they're projected within the case. This is the tricky part, this funding bit. So
explain to me why it's tricky.
It's, okay. The deferred, as soon as I sign on the paper, I'm on the hook for the deferred consideration, right?
You, as an individual, or your entity?
The entity.
Okay.
The 520,000 which is stretching out, the end of year is August, we've got 90 days to pay that. So, delaying it into January.
So your first payment to the funder is 90 days after the close of the year, which is August. So that means September, November-ish.
That's the deferred consideration. That's not the.
That's a deferred consideration.
Yeah. But then this is where they put a block on us. So they're saying that we have to meet a 400,000 EBITDA in order to release the payment. We also need to make sure that we're at 1.1 DSCR. Now, when you look at the numbers on here, we actually fall short in the first year. Now, that's based on our 5% growth rate. If, for whatever reason, the business does not maintain this 400,000 EBITDA, I do have a stopgap for the deferred consideration, where anything that it falls below, I get to deduct from the deferred payment times 2. So if we do 350,000 EBITDA in the first year, it's a $50,000 shortfall. Times 2, 100,000, it means my deferred payment is only 30,000. But it doesn't affect the future, it's locked in for each year. The other thing is that if we exceed 400,000, whatever we get up, they get a 50% cut of that. So there's a bonus in there and a downside. But this is why I've had to put so much money in, because I got lost in spreadsheets with my fucking CFO and our accounting firm is shit. So we've been going backwards and forwards, trying to balance out the money. And essentially, the request that the funder made for us to commit the 15% equity actually balanced the books just.
So the minus your cash, how much does the loan cover of the purchase price?
Well, they get $1,080,000 out, and we've got an extra 120 going back into the business, plus my 180.
Okay, but
1.2, the bank is
Yeah,
what
1.2,
is the lender's loan to value? How much of the total value purchase price is the lender putting in?
75%.
So it's 75% on the value, and the 25% is being made up by you and commercial
And the owners.
and the owners.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay.
My concern here is I don't know if this is a good deal.
What's the percentage that the seller is putting in? Is it 10%? Because I noticed you put in 15%. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, they're deferring $520,000.
Okay, so your total purchase price, if I'm understanding this correct, is $1.6 million.
Correct.
The bank is going to finance $1.2 million.
Correct.
The remainder is going to be made up between the seller and yourself.
Yes.
You have an EBITDA of $455.
Yes.
And if you fall below the 400, say the 50% is deferred on the payment to the bank or to the seller?
To the seller.
To the seller. Okay.
They basically have a second charge.
But they're not going to be, payments won't start with them until 4 years into the game, correct?
No, it's annually. It's broken down into 4 equal.
4 equal payments over 4 years.
That's
Annual.
interest
One
and
chunk
principal?
of annual.
Interest and principal?
Oh, no, with the bank, sorry. I think Jessica's talking about the
The seller
finance.
No interest on that?
No interest.
Okay.
No. These guys, I'm fortunate with, the only reason why I'm able to get the deal done at the price I'm doing is there's a conflict going on within the business. It's too